Hello everybody, and welcome back to probably the most, certainly for me, anticipated Vintage Thursday of the year. As you can tell by the state of me, we are combining, and in the background hopefully you can see it still going. So this is actually day 2 of combining. So what I'm putting now is that very first taste of grain the combine had in 12 years. So I'll put that in now. So that was yesterday. So what happened, we went round the first headland round the field and got to unload, and the fan belt went. It was a belt we'd changed. It just chewed it up. It wasn't a new belt, it was an old belt we had in the workshop, but it was unused, but it was old, so it failed. Anyway, so we changed that, and then on the second time round, for some reason, we don't know why, a circlip fell off the end of the fan that's in the body that blows chaff off the grain. For whatever reason, the circlip fell off of that. We've no idea why, because we hadn't touched that in the pre-servicing. And then, I've forgotten a breakdown. So the very first breakdown was before we even got out of the yard. The hydraulic pipe between the valve and the rams that push the table up, that burst in the yard before we'd even started. So that was a repair yesterday as well. But at least it broke in the yard and not out here. So that was it. That was our 3 breakdowns on day 1. One so far on day 2. The hydraulic pump drive belt that was new, that we did change, that came off. Whether I should have checked the tension after the hours running on a new belt, I don't know, but whatever, it came off. So we're now going. We've done the headland, and he is now just striking out. So I started off yesterday round the headland, did the first bit. Dad did a little bit last night. And then I started again this morning. Dad took over dinner time, and now brother is on. It's milking time now, so I'm going to go milk the cows. He's going to carry on for, well, till the next breakdown probably. So that's his first drive of a combine, like the rest of us, in 12 years. Look at it, it's a nice clean crop. This is the thinnest bit. This is, if you remember in the few previous videos I mentioned, there was a muck heap here and birds pulled out the seed in this area. So that's thin, but get out of that area. There's a nice thick crop. It's looking good. Plenty of straw. Some good ears. And actually, considering the year, the grain, we'll look at some grain in a minute. The grain is very, very pleasing. The size of the grains, to me, I'm happy with them. Considering this is spring wheat in a drought year, if you are a corn farmer or a grain farmer, the Americans, let me know what you think of our grain sample, the size of the grains. I'm really pleased with it. Okay, so here is our grain. So I will admit it is not the cleanest sample coming out of the combine. There is a lot of chaff in it, or some chaff in it. The reason for that is we didn't want to blow the light grains out the back. We don't, because we're not selling this, we're keeping this for our own use. A bit of chaff in it is not going to hurt. But there we go, there is our grain sample. I'm really pleased with the size of it. Give us your opinion. What do you reckon to it? There is some are a bit pinched up, like that one on the end of my thumb there. But then equally, we've got some really nice, bold, chunky grains. So I'm very pleased with that. Yield wise, we don't know. We don't have any way of measuring, weighing, or any of that. So we're not going to know the true yield until the end of the winter when we've fed everything, really. But I think it's going to be acceptable. We were hoping for 2 tons to the acre. This field here is going to be the best. We have a 10-ton trailer, but we're not filling it brim full. So I was kind of hoping to measure trailer loads, but that's not really working out. So yeah, I don't know. It's coming into the combine nice and quickly anyway. For out of the clean grain elevator into the tank, it is fair horsing out of there. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so here we are at the end of our combine's harvest. So it is the end of the combine's harvest. It is not the end of our harvest. So it did not finish. We have had numerous little niggly breakdowns. I mentioned earlier the cleaning fan in the combine. That broke down. We fixed that. That's fine now. Our issue is on the hydraulic pump drive belt. We'll have a look at that, see what the problem is. Okay, so here we are in the engine bay, engine here, hydraulic tank, and this here is the hydraulic pump. Okay, so the belt here is driven from the end of the crankshaft pulley, drives around. Oh, that's better, get my hand out of the way. So the belt here, driven off the crankshaft pulley, drives the hydraulic pump. Okay, so that drives the hydraulic pump via this belt. The second belt coming off here drives the fan on the radiator, which is in here. Okay, all of our problems were caused by this belt, this hydraulic pump unit. Now it doesn't feel like there's any bearings gone. It turns smoothly, there's no wobbling, but we got a feeling the only thing that is left that can be the issue is this pulley. This pulley, or this whole unit, is very slightly out of alignment one way or the other. I think it's very slightly tipped that way, and the belt is not running square, and within a few minutes, this is not the correct size belt. This is just something we had to find quick to get us home. When we started harvest, we did have a brand new correct size belt on this, and it didn't last very long. It chewed itself up, threw itself off, and we had to put this one on to get us going, or to get us back to the yard. It just wouldn't finish. Couple of other little issues. So when this belt came off, it turned inside out, this belt here. So this is your regular fan belt, so this is the water pump. The dynamo is the other side, and it drives off the crank. So when that bottom hydraulic pump belt came off, it turned this belt inside out. So this is now running inside out, but we can't slacken the dynamo bracket to swap that back round. It's just rusted up, and we don't want to risk breaking anything. Another problem, it is not a problem at the moment, but it's going to be this fan. Okay, the radiator cooling fan is running on a bearing down in there, and that bearing is mounted on, this is the exhaust pipe. Okay, so the fan bearing is actually mounted on a bracket on the exhaust pipe, which doesn't sound very much like a good idea, but it's clearly been alright for years and years. And this bearing, it's getting a bit of play in there. So if we run for too much longer, so that needs sorting. We can't leave that fan or that bearing on its way out. That's going to cause all kinds of issues if we carry on. And will put the fan through the radiator if we're not careful. So that is the cause of our issue. It probably can be put right. What we've got to do is take that pump off, find out why it's running out of line, and maybe we could fix it for next year. You know, we're not gonna wait. We haven't got time now to fiddle with it and get it right for this year. It's come to the point we've got to get somebody else in. The vast majority of it, there's 22 or 3 acres, it is away from home anyway, and this thing isn't roadworthy. It's got no brakes and it's not registered and all that, so it was never going to make it up there without a lot of messing. So what we're going to do, yeah, so over the winter, hopefully we might be able to get that pulley sorted, get it running square. All of our repairs, the actual combine part, our repair on the clean grain auger, that is perfect. That didn't give us a moment's issue. The cleaning fan circlip falling off, that's fixed. That seems to be okay now. All of the problems are related to that hydraulic pump. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to get somebody in, get it finished now, because we've got a few more days of fine weather, and then there's potentially rain coming, so we need to get it done before then. Yeah, so there we go. So we are now going to investigate our options for next year. So we are going to plant some more wheat this year, plant some winter wheat. What harvest it next year, that's what we're going to spend the winter, you know, deciding, working out, and who knows what's going to happen. We don't know yet. So there we go. It's not the end of the harvest we wanted, but we got it going. It works, and this is our very chaffy pile. I'll show you this. Okay, so this is the first trailer load at the back, and when the cleaning fan broke, this is what we had. We got a tank full of all the chaff ended up in the tank, so that's why we've got a dirty pile. But it's not the end of the world. But this is a pile off of, we reckon, about 5.5 acres, something like that. So it's not too bad. It's not disappointing, that's for sure. And I think we're going to get more in this store than I was expecting once we've cleared the whole field. You know, once we've combined all of our acreage. I think we're going to get more than I was expecting, which is good. So there we go. Combine. It's now going to get cleaned off, put back to bed, and like I said, we'll reassess our options for next year. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little combine series. We got it going, we got it in a workable condition, and then we actually used it. So hope you've enjoyed those 3 little videos. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.